For decades for this. We're going to be releasing the JFK files.
Everything seemed normal as the president's motorcade began its journey. Everything seemed normal. That is, up until this instant. What took place is so odd that we're going to examine the scene 4 more times. Watch the left side of your screen. The arrow points to Agent in Charge, Amory Roberts, as he stands in a Secret Service follow-up car and motions with his hand. What he is doing is calling away the president's 2 most important bodyguards, the bodyguards whose job was to protect the president's back by riding on the bumper of the limousine throughout the motorcade.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel where truth and logic and a little bit of sarcasm reign supreme. If you're new here, I'm Laura Maelstrom. I'm your favourite ADHD investigator, and I have a mind like a steel trap, a talent for pattern recognition, and a track record of being annoyingly right. Oh, and honey, I am delighted to be right once again. Today we are diving headfirst into one of the biggest cover-ups in American history. It's the CIA's involvement in the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. That's right, folks. If you still think that some random guy named Lee Harvey Oswald, armed with a cheap rifle and a bad aim, magically pulled off the most infamous assassination in modern history, all by his lonesome, then buckle up, because we're about to take a ride down conspiracy lane, except it's not a conspiracy anymore. It's just history with the truth finally surfacing. So what's new? Well, thanks to the recently declassified CIA documents released by none other than Donald J. Trump, and we'll circle back to that later, we now have solid evidence that the agency was not just vaguely connected to JFK's assassination, but likely orchestrated the whole thing. And no, I'm not just making wild claims. I actually have receipts. Now here's the juicy part. These files confirm that Oswald was not just a disgruntled ex-Marine who defected to the Soviet Union and then had a change of heart. Oh no. Oswald was actually known to the CIA. He was monitored by them and, surprise, surprise, was working in collaboration with multiple intelligence agencies. He was their asset. And assets don't just wake up one day and decide to take out a sitting president without a little nudge from the puppet masters. Now, one document in particular, released from the CIA's own archives, show that top officials were very aware of Oswald's movements before the assassination. They tracked his interactions with Cuban and Soviet officials, yet somehow, when it came to preventing a so-called lone wolf attack, crickets. Total radio silence. Now, either the CIA was catastrophically incompetent, which is unlikely, or they were letting the whole thing happen. Bingo. Now let's talk about the aftermath and how quickly Oswald was taken out by Jack Ruby, a man with mafia connections and his own shady ties to intelligence circles. Almost like they needed to shut him up before he could say, actually guys, I was just following orders. Sounds a little bit like Epstein, doesn't it, too? Now let's talk about Gary Underhill, a former CIA agent who spilled the tea hard before he was conveniently suicided just 6 months later. Underhill claimed that a secret faction within the CIA was responsible for JFK's assassination, and that the motive wasn't just political, it was financial. Specifically, he exposed a lucrative narcotics racket that was funding off-the-books operations. Underhill's death Suspicious, to say the least. The official story is that he committed suicide, but here's the kicker. He was found with a shot behind the left ear with a gun tucked underneath his left arm. Now, the only problem was that he was right-handed. A classic case of CIA magic where inconvenient people just seem to be eliminated by themselves in impossible ways. But wait, there's more. According to the CIA document, Jack Ruby met with Oswald right before the assassination. That's right, the guy who silenced Oswald forever was in contact with him just before the biggest political hit in modern history. Coincidence? You already know my answer. And if you thought that was the end of the story, buckle up. The newly released CIA documents also contain very specific instructions to redact any references to CIA collusion with Israel. Why? Because despite there being numerous mentions of Israel in the files, the agency was determined to keep certain relationships under wraps. When intelligence agencies start censoring specific details, that's when you really need to start paying attention. And here's the smoking gun. An arms dealer named Echeverria is quoted in one of the documents saying, "We now have plenty of money. Our new backers are Jews, as soon as we or they take care of Kennedy." Excuse me? This is taken from the declassified files, folks. It points to a high-level coordination involving intelligence, money, and power brokers who had everything to gain from JFK's removal. Now let's put this into perspective. If the CIA are willing to assassinate the sitting president, the leader of the free world, and the most powerful man on earth, then what else are they capable of? Spoiler alert, a lot. Do we really think that the manipulation, deception, and covert operations stopped with JFK? Now, if you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. Look around. There are fingerprints of intelligence agencies everywhere. COVID-19, the narrative control, the suppression of dissent, the shady origins of the virus itself. Who benefits? 9/11, a terrorist attack that just so happened to justify decades of endless war, unprecedented surveillance, and the erosion of civil liberties. How convenient. The woke agenda, a calculated psychological operation designed to divide and distract the masses whilst the elite keep pulling the strings. Classic misdirection. And that brings us back to Trump. Say what you will about him, and I know y'all have your opinions, but if he was really part of the deep state, why would he have declassified these documents? Why expose the very system that is supposedly protecting him? Maybe, just maybe, the reason why he's been facing an unprecedented level of attack, lawsuit, and media smear campaigns is because he's not playing ball with the establishment. Maybe the real reason they're trying to bury him is because he threatens their cozy little regime. Now, only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, history has a habit of repeating itself, and the people in power don't like their secrets coming to light. So what do you guys think? Are you connecting the dots? Is it finally clicking that our government has been playing a very long game of deception? Let me know in the comments, unless, of course, the CIA gets me first. And if I could just say out on the record now, I'm not suicidal anymore, and I won't do that in the future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video before it mysteriously disappears into the YouTube void. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay sassy, and most importantly, stay awake.